What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You already know what it is. Francis from Next Up Sports Talk, back again with another one. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Press the like button. It's free. And also subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content here on the channel. You want to be a part of Next Up Sports Talk family. Appreciate it 1000%. Don't forget to leave your comments below, whether you agree or disagree with the comments, the opinions in this particular video. And we wasting no time. As you can see in the thumbnail, Coach Jesse Marsch, no Canada. Kyle Larin and Jonathan David working together up front is not the answer for success going forward in the Copa America tournament or going forward, period, when it comes to Canadian football. And we're going to talk about it in this video right here. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. But listen, I don't know if you guys have been watching Canadian football, if you haven't been watching Canadian soccer, as we call it here in Canada, football for the rest of the world. Listen, Jonathan David and Kyle Larin together working up front is not it. Both these strikers, both these forwards, they kind of play similar games. They don't have similar games, but they play similar games. In other words, they wait to get on the end of balls that are passed to them by their teammates to try to score. They're both scorers. They both are born to score, born to put the ball in the back of the net. So if you know anything about a striker, when the ball is not coming to them, they're doing a lot of walking. Other than when the ball is in the defense and they got to press to try to, get a turnover. Otherwise, they're not really moving that fast. So you can't have 2 of the 10 people in the field walking. And when you get the ball, you got the foot speed, but there isn't so that 1v1 I can take you on, step over. I can push it by you and run. Like Jonathan David will attempt to do that. But him playing off the back of Kyle Larin and they're playing together, knocking the ball 1-2, it's not going to happen. So when you have Tajon Buchanan or Jacob coming down the left or the right side of the field, Jonathan David, my apologies, Alphonso Davies coming down the left side of the field, when the ball is passed to either Jonathan David or Kyle Larin, they're not really necessarily looking for one another to play a through ball or to play a nice over-the-top diagonal ball to one another like a skilled midfielder would. So they kind of cancel each other out. So if there's no service up front, now you got Jonathan David falling back into the midfield, trying to play the number 10 role, being a creator. And Jonathan David in his club football is not a creator. He's been created for. He's been put in a position that people create for him. Kyle Larin, the same thing. Create for him. If you give him, inside the 18-yard box, yeah, he can step over and push it and get to his sweet spot so where he can try to score going far post or near post. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at it, if you know football at all, you can't have 2 strikers who play similar style of football playing together because you're not going to have much success up front. And yes, Canada did win their game, their first Copa America tournament, their first Copa America win under Jesse Marsch. But Coach Jesse Marsch, he's got to figure it out. That's 2 games now when it didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. It didn't happen from them 2 up top working off one another. It didn't happen from the midfield, Stefan Estacio passing the ball to either Jonathan David, and he's playing off Kyle Larin. They're playing off one another. They're sharing the ball. They're playing with pace. They're playing with skill. That's not happening. First of all, having the Jonathan David to play as a number 10 is kind of, woo, that's crazy. I don't know if I'd have Jonathan David playing any type of number 10 for me personally. And that's respectfully. But they say if it's not broke, you don't fix it. And I'm guessing Jesse Marsch hasn't realized that it's not really working. It's stagnant. It stinks. And anything that is stagnant stinks. Anything that doesn't move, it stinks. It seizes up. It done. That lineup has got to change. He's got to find a way to infuse some energy into some parts of the game. So Tajon Buchanan has been moved to the bench. At that particular point, either you're going to start with Jonathan David or you're going to start with Kyle Larin. But one of the two, that you can bring one in to add a little bit more pace, a little bit more energy, a little bit of fresh legs to kind of affect the game in a different way. But it's not working. It's not working. No Canada. No, 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 no. Jesse Marsch, Coach Jesse Marsch. No, 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 no. Those two together, not working. It's not it. Enough of that. They got to fling with that, start again, come up with a new way of putting these teams together up front, because I'm tired of these teams playing with two strikers that play the same way. Both cancel each other out. They literally cancel one another out when it comes to playing a certain style of football. They both, again, are not going to play off one another. They're not going to play a through ball to one another. They're not going to play a 1-2. They're not going to time the run and make the perfect pass. It's not happening from either of them. So why play them together? Why not put a player in there that can do something similar, affect some type of change to where it's effective? And then you can be like, you know what? Jonathan David ran for 45 minutes. He ran 60 minutes. Let me give Kyle Larin an opportunity. He's fresh. He's hungry coming off the bench. And you know, he's always looking to score. He's always looking to score goals. If you reach this far in the video, go ahead and smash that like button, man. Don't forget to drop your comments below and let me know if you agree or disagree. If you're watching the Copa America at all, or if you watch Canadian football at all, at any point, you would notice, if you know football, that these two, if you know soccer, I'll tell you, you'd know that these two don't work. It doesn't work. You understand? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to know, I'm curious to know what you think of these two players who, in my opinion, both play the same position. Because in club football, Jonathan David plays that number 9 position. He plays that number 9. In other words, he sits in front of the goal. He's a hold-up forward, or he's being serviced by the midfield with balls that he can get on the end of and be clinical and do what he do. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why these coaches are so stubborn or so in love with playing two strikers that play the same way. Kyle Larin again gets the ball on the right side of the field. He's not going to take you on 1v1, step over, push it past you, cross the ball in for Jonathan David to get on the end of one of them. Also, when the ball is swung in to the box, they're both looking to get on the end of the same ball. I'm surprised they haven't smashed into each other yet. Going for the same ball that's been crossed into the box and playing the same way. I don't understand why Coach Jesse Marsch hasn't figured this out yet. It's something that is an easy fix if you would just not be stubborn and pay attention to the fact that you can have a more effective team. You got some firepower coming off the bench, Coach Jesse Marsch. Here he is right there. Coach, I'm talking to you. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Switch up the lineup. You can have way more firepower, be way more dangerous in different parts of the game if you were to use the team properly. With the speed of Buchanan coming off the bench and a Kyle Larin coming off the bench, mixed in with Richie Larin coming off the bench. I'm telling you, speed and talent coming off the bench. When these teams are tired in the 50th and 60th or 70th minute, and you bring on players like that can get onto the end of balls and score or create opportunities for themselves, I think Canada will be one of those teams that will be knocking on the door of success every time they step onto the field. But no Canada, no Coach Jesse Marsch. It's not Marsch. It's not working. It's not working for me from what I'm looking at. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree that it's not working to play Jonathan David and Kyle Larin together up front as two holding strikers, two holding forwards who are not going to create for one another. And Jonathan David is definitely dropping too far into the midfield, playing that number 10 role and having to now try to figure out a way to create opportunities to score goals from so far out, from 20 to 25 yards out. He's now having to dribble which is not really his strong suit, to get into a position to shoot or to pass it off to a winger so they can pass it off to Kyle Larin. I think if you can have more effective, put another person into the midfield to now compact the midfield so you can go out to Alphonso Davies or Jacob on the left and the right side, and then the box can come back in. I think it'd be better for Jonathan David and Kyle Larin if they're getting the service that needed. But looking to them to create service for one another is not it. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you agree or disagree. This is obviously if you watch the Canada national team play football, play soccer, then you can let me know what you think and whether you agree that watching them play together, it's a little bit stagnant. When Eustáquio get the ball and he passes it to Jonathan David or Kyle Larin, it kind of stops at that point. There isn't any explosion. There isn't any expression of skill that you can see that's going to create threat, create opportunities for the team to score, for the team to beat other teams by putting the ball into the back of the net. You already know what it is. It's Francis from Next Up Sports Talk. I decided to come here and talk about that. I've been watching it for at least 4-5. This is before Jesse Marsch. Before Jesse Marsch, they were playing this type of lineup before, and it never worked. But for a little bit, they tried it. The previous coach, he tried it for a little bit. He did. He used to bring Kyle Larin off the bench, and he used to be explosive. He used to come in hungry, full of energy. So I don't understand what Jesse Marsch is seeing on the training pitch. I'm not sure what his coaching staff is looking at, but whatever they're looking at, it ain't working. Yes, you won a game, but you won a game because the team went 10 men down. It should have been 9 men down, but they got a red card. And so you got an attacking opportunity off a turnover. You were counterattacking, and Jonathan David got to put one in the back of the net. But at the end of the day, you could get more goals and more opportunities if these two players are not on the field together. Early in the game, maybe later in the game it can work, but early in the game is definitely not going to work. And I'd like to see them not play the same position. I don't want to see two holding forwards playing together because we need some creativity up front. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Jonathan David, Kyle Larin, I don't want to see them playing together. It's Francis of Next Up Sports Talk. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you haven't, drop your comment below. I'll catch you on another one. Stay tuned. I'm out.